I got a great clip for you guys today to review. It has to do with four-time Class of Physique Mr. Olympia Chris Bumstead and what PEDs he's been using, allegedly, and what PEDs he does now. Do you guys believe what Chris Bumstead said in this clip? And I want to know if you guys believe what Chris Bumstead is saying in this clip. So don't go anywhere. Guys, you don't have to go down that road just yet. Check out Old School Labs supplements at oldschoollabs.com and check out Nitro 3D. This is my supercharged intra workout. And check out Natty. Yes, you don't have to go down that road using testosterone synthetically just yet. Try out Natty. Or even if you're bridging between cycles, you can use Natty. Before you guys go to the dark side, make sure you push your body to its limits first with training, nutrition, and proper over-the-counter supplements. Use code NICKBS if you guys want to support and save money. All right, so I'm going to play this clip from Chris Bumstead's interview with Chris Williamson, and they talk about Chris's PED use and allegedly what he does now versus what he used to do. And I have a very, very interesting point of view to share with you guys about this clip. So let's get it started.
You're quite health conscious about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a very rough sport physically, psychologically, hormonally. Do you have any concerns about longevity? You've done an awful lot of extreme things to your body over the last decade. Mm-hmm. How worried are you about that longer term?
I mean, I think if you're a bodybuilder and you don't worry about that, you're either stupid or lying, to be completely honest. So it's something I definitely, obviously with all my own health conditions from the past, is on the forefront of my brain.
Remember, Chris Bumstead has an autoimmune disease, a kidney disease, and he's still continuing to chase after Mr. Olympias after he's won 4. So let that set in while you're listening to this interview. If you were Mr. Olympia 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, or even once, don't you think you would have threw the towel in knowing you have a kidney disease that's eating away your health regardless if you do bodybuilding or not? And now you add the variable that you're a professional bodybuilder to that? You're only speeding up all of those negative things that happen to your body. I don't care how fucking safe you are. It is not smart.
You know, there's blood work you can get done consistently to keep your markers on. There's a lot of tests. You know, diagnostics now are absolutely insane. And if you want to stay healthy long term, it's getting something, if something's going on with you, catching it early. So I do a lot of diagnostics and blood work and make sure I'm getting healthy. And ever since I was sick in 2018, my blood work's kind of continuously improved.
I don't believe that for a second. Now, he may have kept the side effects and the symptoms at bay, but it doesn't mean he's necessarily getting healthier or doing it more healthy, that he's not going to have long-term lingering effects from what he's doing right now. That's the thing you guys need to make sure is really, really resonating with you right now. Because just because he's doing it safer and smarter doesn't mean he will not have any pain to deal with when he gets older. The shit really starts to fall apart when you get into your 30s and 40s and 50s. That is when you see all the things you did when you were in your 20s and 30s that were no good catch up to you. That's when your body starts to really fall apart. It's not right now. But when Chris stops bodybuilding, that is when you'll have a rude awakening. And I truly believe Chris is being very, very silly by continuing going after more Mr. Olympias after he already won 4 and has plenty of business set up for himself already that he can live a very nice life with. Why? Why, in God's sake, would you want to go win more Mr. Olympias when you have a kidney disease? If he was perfectly healthy going into this, I would say, fuck it. Go for 10, go for 20. But he's not. Those were not the cards he was dealt with. So why push it to the next level every single year when you know it's not good for you?
No, like, negative impact I'm putting on myself. Like, I've reduced a lot of the stress and negative things I put in my body and increased more of my health Like the type of food I give in me is not just calories. It's actually the quality of the food and the type of food and everything that I need that like I really focus on rather than just straight macros. I've never been a macro guy, and I'm even less now because I actually care about my health. And all these aspects, like everything I know I need with my body comes from a lot of the diagnostics I've done and vitamins and all this stuff. And I just know that I've made an agreement with myself that when these things start to falter and they start to go down, no matter where I'm at in my career, if I'm peaked, if I'm not peaked, if I'm about to be better, I just need to call it.
And this is going to be the toughest pill for you guys watching to swallow, because he really paints a nice picture right here for you. He paints the beautiful home with the white picket fence, with the van in the driveway, the family out in the front yard with the 2 kids, the boy and the girl, the mom and dad. That is not what's really going on. Yes, the food is it's crucial to his success. And yes, getting the blood work and the proper checks done is super important. But there's one thing he cannot stop from happening. He's still taking the drugs to get in shape and put on muscle. He's still carrying around a lot of muscle 24/7, 365. He's still training extremely hard, which puts a ton of stress on your kidney and liver. And on top of all that, he's still competing in the Mr. Olympia every year, which is the most competitive bodybuilding show on the planet. He has to come in 100% or he will lose. You guys think he's going to hold back for the Mr. Olympia title, the one that he's staying in the sport for? Don't kid yourself, guys. Just because he's not using TREN, which he talks about in a second, doesn't mean he's not pushing his body in other ways. It doesn't mean because he's 2% body fat and he's eating organic meat, that makes it healthier. Get smarter, be smarter, educate yourselves, and stop listening to people with a blindfold on and earplugs in.
Yeah, I've heard you say that in the past there was compounds and things that you would have taken that now you're like, this is it's too dangerous. What are the things that for you are like off the table with regards to this is too much, this is too risky for me?
The biggest one is like TREN.
Yeah.
The good old TREN that like there's guys who literally like base their social media off that now. It's just like a meme of the internet, of the gym culture. And I don't even think people realize the impact that these jokes and memes have on like people coming up.
Now, is TREN a harsh chemical? Yeah, absolutely. One of the worst. But it doesn't mean the other chemicals we're using to build muscle and get in shape and dehydrate our body with aren't dangerous either, especially when you have an autoimmune disease and you have a kidney disease where everything is toxic at this point. It doesn't really matter if this thing is more toxic or not, or this one does this to your body. Everything Chris puts in his body is not good because he has an autoimmune disease. It's not safe for him to use anything, let alone TREN. So just because he's removing one variable out of dozens of things doesn't mean he's removing the risk factor that he's gonna have when he gets older of possibly having some long-term effects from this. It doesn't remove him from the equation. So if this is what he has to do to convince himself to not lose sleep at night over it, that's fine. I understand. He's doing this to make sure his mind stays in the right place. But don't you think out there that it's okay to do it when you have an autoimmune disease or you have some other health issue going on, and you said, oh, Chris doesn't use TREN, so he continues to be a bodybuilder even though he has a kidney disease. It's okay. So I could do it too. No, that's a really, really dumb way of looking at it. If you have a kidney disease, you don't become a professional bodybuilder. You don't put yourself in any risk unless you want to face those repercussions that day it comes, because it is going to come that day. Eventually, you're going to have your day where everything is going to start failing on you. And the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, fuck, I shouldn't have been a professional bodybuilder.
That's probably the most toxic thing you can put in your body. And I've done it in the past, but I don't anymore. I just haven't touched it in like 5 years.
Why?
Just the toxicity it causes in your body. Like it just comes in, it harms your kidneys, your liver, just everything that takes your body to process it and go through it. It's just not natural. It's not meant to be in your body. And it makes you strong as fuck. And people say they feel like they're on top of the world when they take it. But
so Chris is trying to tell us that, oh, The TREN comes into your body and it's not natural. So therefore, he is not going to use it because it's really dangerous. Oh, but super high testosterone is not bad for you. Primobolan, Anavar, Winstrol, Clenbuterol, T3, growth hormone, diuretics, Masteron, like whatever drug you're using. Yeah, all the other compounds, they don't add up to being just as bad as TREN. TREN is just so high up here. It's just like untouchable. It's so bad for you. I could still be a professional bodybuilder with a kidney disease and have no problems. That is one dumb motherfucker, if you ask me. If he really thinks this, which I know he doesn't because I know Chris isn't dumb, I lost all respect for Chris. I know Chris is behind scenes saying, I know all that other stuff is just as bad as TREN, especially when you add it all together. It's probably way worse than TREN. But at least I'm removing one thing, right? I mean, I'm doing something positive for my health. I'm taking away the TREN. Guys, you got to understand, you got to wake up. Chris's genetics are that good that he can continue to be a professional bodybuilder at the highest level and be number one with a kidney disease. Does it not tell you how good this kid's genetics are for drugs as well, and for damaging his body with drugs as well, and all the dieting and all the training, all the stress that he has every day, and his body could still peak for a bodybuilding show? You will not be able to do that. You can't replicate what Chris does because you're not Chris. I'm not Chris. No one's Chris. So don't think you can duplicate this because Chris told you just do it without TREN. You'll be fine. You won't have any health issues if you don't use TREN. That's complete bullshit. And he used TREN up until a couple years ago. So he used it in the beginning of his career probably every single year for multiple cycles a year. He probably ran high doses of it. So he did have to use TREN at some point to get to a certain point in his career. He did not ever use it. He's just saying recently I didn't use it. So don't think you can do the same because now you're copying what Chris does when he's at the top of the sport, when he's the best. Chris sacrificed the other 10 years of his life using TREN and using everything at probably high doses and deadlifting and squatting and benching and doing all this crazy shit to get there to build the foundation to be Mr. Olympia. What you see now, it's only a very small percentage of what he had to do to get there. And just because you copy what he's doing now, it doesn't mean you're going to have the same success. Be careful. It's not worth it if you have a kidney disease.